Hi everyone, this is Nishta from Nish Online Interior Design, Paint Color Consultation and Home Decor Content Writing. Well, are you one of those homeowners who absolutely hate a yellow undertone on the walls of their homes? Or if you've recently purchased a home and found that the walls are simply too dingy, they majorly showcase a yellow undertone, or you accidentally ended up choosing a white paint color that has or showcases a yellow undertone, well, this video is all for you because I'm going to talk about 12 best Sherwin-Williams white paint colors that don't showcase any yellow undertones. Well, just like you, I'm also one of those homeowners who absolutely hate the yellow in their home. Yellow generally tends to end up looking dingy, dull, and sometimes dirty as well. And that's why Sherwin-Williams also has a wide array of paint colors, or I must say white paint colors that don't showcase a yellow undertone. Well, sometimes it may not be your fault. Maybe you've tried out a sample and it doesn't appear yellow, but then after painting all the walls, ceilings and trims, you find that color looking yellow. And I understand because there have been tons and tons of homeowners who've approached me, who've told me about this situation, and I have chosen paint colors that are not so yellow for them. Now, there can be three different situations why a white paint color ended up looking yellow in your home. Number one, did you pair that white paint color on the walls with a fresh or clean white paint color on the ceiling trims? Let's say if you painted this off-white creamy tone paint color on the walls and then you paired it with a fresh, clean, bright, crisp white paint color on the ceilings and trims and moldings and baseboards, then definitely this color is bound to look yellow. For instance, if you compare a swatch of Sherwin-Williams Alabaster with Sherwin-Williams Extra White or even Sherwin-Williams Pure White, you will see that Alabaster definitely ends up showcasing a yellow undertone, or it appears way too creamy when paired with these cooler tone or neutral white paint colors. So you have to be really careful around these paint colors. So generally, let's say if you particularly like a creamy toned color, but you're also afraid about the yellow undertone, then what you can do is you can simply paint all your ceilings, baseboards, trims and doors in this particular creamy toned color, and that way the yellow is simply not going to show up. Yes, that's a tricky way to use one of these creamy paint colors without making your space look yellow. Now, the second situation is where you are using a certain off-white or a creamy or a warm white paint color in the west or a south facing room. So, like we already discussed earlier, the west or the south facing rooms tend to receive tons of warm natural light or direct sunshine, and that is when these white paint colors can tend to wash off and look more warm and yellow. So, especially in these lighting conditions, you have to be careful around the undertones, especially when it comes to the yellow undertones, since they can appear quite glowy and golden in your west or south facing rooms. Now, that is again a consideration that you must consider. And under the third situation, you need to determine what kind of a flooring do you already have. Let's say if you have a cool toned white oak or grey flooring and you ended up using this creamy toned color on the walls, definitely that color is going to look yellow. If you have warmer toned flooring of white oak or maple or walnut, this creamy color is not going to showcase the yellow undertone. So, you see there are these three important aspects that you need to consider, and apart from these you also need to consider where are you intending to use this paint color, what are the local architectural features, what are the local furnishings, furnitures and a lot of other factors out there. So, in my today's video I am going to be talking about 12 best Sherwin-Williams white paint colors that don't showcase yellow undertones under any cost, even if you place them in south or west facing rooms, or even if you place them against cooler toned hardwood flooring, these colors will never ever detect a touch of yellow in them. But before I move on to my list of 12 best Sherwin-Williams paint colors, I am going to first talk about some very common questions that are often asked by the homeowners. So, there have been tons of times when homeowners have asked if Sherwin-Williams Pure White has a yellow undertone, And my answer is no. Sherwin-Williams Pure White does not have a yellow undertone. It's more on the neutral and softer white paint color category, which is neither warm nor cool. Hence, that's why it's my go-to paint color for any ceilings, baseboards, trims, as well as moldings. So if you're wondering if Pure White has a touch of yellow or no, it definitely does not have any yellow. You can use it if you're afraid of the undertones. You can use this paint color as a whole house color scheme as well. Now, homeowners have also asked me about certain creamy tone paint colors that don't showcase a yellow undertone. Well, let me tell you, every creamy color has a hidden yellow undertone somewhere or the other. It's just you who has to smartly play with the paint color in a space that the yellow does not end up showcasing too bright. So, Sherwin-Williams Alabaster, let's say Sherwin-Williams Shell White are some paint colors that are definitely creamy, but they don't showcase a yellow undertone as far as you don't pair these paint colors with crisp white trims, and as far as you're only restricting to these paint color for the ceilings, trims, walls, moldings, interior doors. In that way, these paint colors will definitely not appear yellow under any lighting condition. So now that I've talked about the common questions often asked by the homeowners, let's get started with my list of 12 best Sherwin-Williams white paint colors with no yellow undertones. And the first paint color on my list is Sherwin-Williams Egret White. Sherwin-Williams Egret White is a warm off-white color with a tinge of stone grey and beige undertone. Under certain lighting conditions, this color can showcase a touch of pink or violet but never yellow. With an LRV of 70, this is a considerably darker toned off-white color that has immense depth to hold itself pretty well in excessive lighting conditions. So, Egret White is definitely a very safe paint color to play around. You can pair this darker off-white paint color with Sherwin-Williams Pure White on the ceilings, trims, moldings and baseboards. Now, I must tell you, this is a warm white color, but definitely not close to being creamy or yellow at all. So, you don't have to always choose a cooler paint color to not achieve the yellow. You can still have warmer toned colors and not have yellow, and Egret White is definitely one of the best choices under that category. You can check out my latest pre-packaged Sherwin-Williams Egret White color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now, my Etsy shop has tons and tons of pre-packaged color palettes out there. So, if you're looking to paint or repaint your homes in an affordable way, you can check out those listings. They have whole house color schemes and tons of paint color ideas to pair with, as well as the coordinating colors. I've added the links of my Etsy shop below. You can even find these digital listings under my website www.nishthasadhana.com under the digital products listing. The link is in the description box below. Now, the next color on my list is Sherwin-Williams Marshmallow. Sherwin-Williams Marshmallow is a bright white paint color with a touch of warm pink undertone. Under any lighting conditions, this color will never come off yellow, dingy or dull. With an LRV of 82, this color falls on the lighter end of the scale and can work with the best in smaller rooms or even spaces with little natural incoming light. Now, with Sherwin-Williams Marshmallow, you can simply stick to marshmallow as well for the ceilings, trims and moldings, or you can even pair this color with let's say Sherwin-Williams Pure White on the ceilings, trims and moldings. This color is bound to detect a touch of pink undertone, but that can be only super dominant under certain lighting conditions. At the same time, this color pairs just so beautifully with your pampas grass, warm earthy tones on the furnitures and furnishings, and some satin brass knobs and fixtures to go. You can check out my latest pre-packaged Sherwin-Williams Marshmallow color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now, the next color on my list is Sherwin-Williams White Heron. Sherwin-Williams White Heron is a bright white color with a touch of violet undertone. This neutral and clear white color can make any space feel cozy, calm, versatile and comfortable. And since this color falls on the warmer end of the scale, it can be used for a variety of design styles. Moreover, you can even use this color as a whole house scheme. So, White Heron is definitely a bright white paint color to go with. If you're afraid of the yellow undertones, just like me, White Heron can make a beautiful appeal in your home. Also, it has an LRV of 76, which means that it falls on the medium end of the scale. But again, it's not going to make your space look dull, dingy or dark because it's not super dark as well. It has that bright characteristic to it, which means that it's definitely one of my best and favorite paint colors that don't have yellow undertones. Now the next color on my list is Sherwin-Williams Pure White. Sherwin-Williams Pure White is a soft and subtle, timeless and classic white paint color that is neither too cool nor too warm. With an LRV of 84, this color falls on the lighter end of the scale and will always feel neutral. Yes, this white color is bound to make your space feel larger, airier and also brighter. So let me tell you, under any lighting condition or under any compass direction, Sherwin-Williams Pure White will never ever detect a touch of yellow undertone to it. So it's definitely a never fail solution for your ceilings, trims, moldings, interior doors as well as baseboard. So definitely a number one choice to go if you're looking for a softer neutral white paint color which is not too cool, not too warm and definitely lacks the yellow undertones. You can check out my latest pre-packaged Sherwin-Williams Pure White color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next color on my list is Sherwin-Williams Aesthetic White. Sherwin-Williams Aesthetic White is a lighter beige or a darker off-white paint color with a deep beige undertone. This is one of the best Sherwin-Williams white paint colors with no yellow undertones. It has an LRV of 73 which falls on the slightly darker end of the off-white color range. This neutral has a wink of violet undertone and will never feel too warm or too cool. Now aesthetic white is a super muted off-white paint color. So if you particularly like that sense of visual contrast between the walls and the ceilings and trims, then aesthetic white can definitely make a visually contrasting appeal. Especially if you pair this paint color with, let's say, Sherwin-Williams Pure White, it can definitely make a beautiful appeal. It will show off that it's not a true white paint color, but when looked from far, it definitely is a white paint color. You can check out my latest pre-packaged Sherwin-Williams Aesthetic White color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next color on my list is Sherwin-Williams White Snow. With an LRV of 90, Sherwin-Williams White Snow is quite a bright white paint color. This white paint color almost lacks any undertones and inclines more on the slightly cooler end of the scale. So if you're looking for a bright white paint color, whether for the walls or ceilings or trims, White Snow can play a phenomenal role. But Sherwin-Williams White Snow also has the ultimate magic and potential to brighten up the dull corners. So if you have a smaller space to deal with, let's say if you have a smaller bedroom or a foyer or a smaller home in general, you can paint all the common walls in White Snow to brighten up those dull corners without looking too institutional. At the same time, you can use this paint color for ceilings, trims and moldings as well. And this color will never ever showcase any yellow undertone because it's definitely on the neutral end of the scale. Now the next paint color on my list is Sherwin-Williams Eider White. Sherwin-Williams Eider White is a slightly cooler tone off-white paint color with a wink of grey and pink undertones. The pink or violet undertone can be quite dominant, especially when the paint color is used in a smaller space or a room that receives less incoming natural light. This off-white paint color by Sherwin-Williams will never showcase a yellow undertone in any compass direction or lighting conditions. Now we know that Sherwin-Williams Eider White has an LRV of 73, which means that it falls on the medium to slightly darker end of the scale. Moreover, this color is super muted and not bright, so I would recommend that you use this paint color in a space that receives considerable incoming natural light, or if you tend to use this paint color in a north facing room, or let's say a room that is small and receives lesser incoming natural light, it can appear slightly dingy and dull and not so anticipating. So this paint color can definitely do wonders in a south facing room or a room that receives ample incoming natural light. You can check out my latest pre-packaged Sherwin-Williams Eider White color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next color on my list is Sherwin-Williams Incredible White. If you hate the yellow undertones, you can have a look at Sherwin-Williams Incredible White that will readily feel crisp and fresh. This color also can be used as a whole house color scheme without looking yellow in any compass direction. Incredible White is a muted off-white paint color that has a deep grey and a touch of violet to it. With an LRV of 74, this is a slightly darker paint color of the off-white LRV range, and I would recommend that you go with ceilings and trims in something like Sherwin-Williams Pure White to go. Now, just like Ida White, even Incredible White has a tendency to appear slightly muddy and dull. So, you must use this paint color which has moderately or considerable incoming natural light. At the same time, this color will do simply wonders when used in a larger home or even on the common walls of a home. You can check out my latest pre-packaged Sherwin-Williams Incredible White color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now, the next color on my list is Sherwin-Williams City Loft. City Loft is one of the best Sherwin-Williams paint colors with no yellow undertones. Especially if you have a transitional vibe and are looking for an off-white paint color on the walls that makes the slightest contrast with white trims, City Loft is definitely something to have an eye on. This color also makes a beautiful whole house color scheme and can make your space feel warmer and larger. Now, Sherwin-Williams City Loft has an LRV of 70, which means that it's one of the darkest off-white paint colors on my list, but at the same time, it does not have the potential to look dull or muddy like, let's say, Sherwin-Williams Incredible White or even Sherwin-Williams Ida White. So if you particularly like very super lighter grays in your home and don't want to experiment with something like agreeable gray, which can be slightly darker, then something like Sherwin-Williams City Loft can make a beautiful appeal. It can also create a very nice visual contrast against Sherwin-Williams pure white on the trims, interior doors, moldings as well as ceilings. You can check out my latest pre-packaged Sherwin-Williams City Loft color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now, the next paint color on my list is Sherwin-Williams Snowbound. Sherwin-Williams Snowbound is my absolute favorite white paint color without yellow undertones. This is a bright white paint color that has a clean, fresh and crisp vibe to it, hence can make a space feel or look slightly cooler, modern and brighter. This color has the slightest touch of a grey undertone and can sometimes showcase a wink of pink as well. Well, and that pink is not very dominant. So now Sherwin-Williams Snowbound is one of the lightest and brightest paint colors out there that do not have a yellow undertone, obviously after white snow and pure white. Now Snowbound has a wink of pink undertone that is not very dominant and it will never ever showcase a yellow undertone even if you place this color in a south or a west facing room. So if you're particularly looking for a brighter white paint color which has an LRV of over 80, then Sherwin-Williams Snowbound can truly play a beautiful role. Well, there have been tons and tons of times when I've recommended Sherwin-Williams Origami White as a whole house color scheme to my color consultation clients and they've absolutely loved the paint color, especially if you have a moderate to slightly larger space or I must say even not a very tiny home but a smaller home that receives considerable incoming natural light, then Origami White is definitely a go-to paint color if you want to avoid the yellow undertones. It has an LRV of 76 which means that it's not dark but at the same time it's not super bright as well. You can check out my latest pre-packaged Sherwin-Williams Origami White color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now, the last paint color on my list is Sherwin-Williams Extra White. Now, Sherwin-Williams Extra White is a super popular, super versatile white paint color that does not showcase any yellow undertones under any lighting conditions or when paired with any architectural element. Sherwin-Williams Extra White has a deep blue undertone to it, but that is not very dominant. In a smaller space, this color can come off quite clean, crisp and remarkably fresh. So if you're really scared of the yellow undertones, Extra White is a bright white paint color that can be used in a home. Again, Extra White has an LRV of 86, which means that it's super bright, super clean and can be used with extra white ceilings, trims, interior doors as well as baseboards and moldings. You can check out my latest pre-packaged Sherwin-Williams Extra White color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. So, now that I've discussed my 12 best Sherwin-Williams white paint colors that lack the yellow undertones, did you particularly like any? Well, there are tons of these paint colors that you can blindly use in your home without having to worry about these colors looking yellow. But of course, you might have to consider a little bit of the compass direction and of course, what you're ending up pairing this paint color with on the flooring, the countertops, or let's say even the backsplash tiles. So if you're still doubtful about what paint colors to go in your home, do check out my color consultation packages on my Etsy shop as well as my website. I even offer a one-on-one video phone own consultation call where I can directly get in touch with you on a video or phone call and look through your space and discuss and tell you the best possible paint colors for your space. Lastly, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel as I'm coming up with these paint color related videos every Monday. Bye.